Alrighty guys, so let's talk about how market collects orders. Before we get into it, I want to show you guys a quick example as far as what market has been doing in this section right here. Market has already been collecting orders. As you guys can see, market was collecting orders throughout this whole area. Had a great point of interest, this overall move, and then continue pushing down. And we're looking for market to go ahead and push down potentially into the zone of imbalance before coming back up into a discount and continuation to its overall move, which is going to potentially be to the downside. Now, what are the ways that I'm able to identify that market is collecting orders? One of the ways that I like to take in consideration is going to be my RSI. My RSI helps me identify when market is overbought or oversold, and we are seeing divergence. So in this very moment, we can really see how market has created some divergence, market moving up, and in this section over here, we can see how market was moving down. So that was creating some divergence. Now the overall terminology when it comes to institutional trading and how market is collecting orders is going to be by the following. So let's get to it right here. Now when it comes to collecting orders, you want to understand the following, which is going to be how market is making liquidity. Now market is going to be moving either to the upside or to the downside. So in this case scenario, we can see how market is moving to the upside. We're creating overall structure and then comes back down, and is making that nice structure. Okay, we're making that nice structure to the upside. But at the same time as we are doing this, we start losing our overall momentum as we start going higher and higher. We can see how the higher peaks are lower and lower when we start diminishing the overall move that's happening to the upside. And we're getting tighter and tighter inside the market. Now, as market is getting tighter and tighter inside the market, what ends up happening is that market is now creating a nice zone of resistance. Now, when market makes this nice zone of resistance, understand the following is that it is a trap, okay? Not 100% of the time, however, you are more likely to see market be manipulated above these sections once you see a move to the downside. So one of the things that happens a lot is market goes ahead and starts having that direction that many sellers want to start seeing, which is going to be to the downside. Now when we start seeing that direction or that push to the downside with price action, people start seeing the following, or individuals start seeing the following, that there's a nice little break in this section and they expect for a nice retracement right over here. However, once market does this, there's going to be a nice manipulation above these highs, taking out liquidity and then continuing with its overall move to the downside. So what was happening is that market was collecting orders both above and beneath, and the candle that collected all the orders was right here, our point of interest. Now the point of interest is something that's very important for us to identify, because when we are able to identify the point of interest, we're able to identify where the orders were collected. So in this very move right here, there are going to be wicks on the candles and some are not going to have wicks. The ones that don't have the wicks and have the overall bullish candle, that is where most of the orders were collected, and that is where most of the orders were placed. Okay, what do I mean by collecting in place? What I mean by collecting in place is because in this moment, let's say market ended up moving to the upside right over here. So market ended up moving to the upside right in this section. They placed their orders right here, and they collected the orders right above over here. They went ahead and placed new orders right up here to push the market down. And what they want to go ahead and do is they want to go ahead and take out the half point into a discount level before continuing moving down. So when it comes to collecting orders, guys, let's go over here onto the chart so that way I can show you as a quick visual. Market will go ahead and create order flow by collecting orders, collecting and placing. So in this case scenario, we can see how market had a nice push to the downside right over here. So they placed and then they collected orders right over here. We had a nice push to the downside right here. They placed orders and then they went ahead and collected orders right here. Then they had a nice push to the downside right here. So they went ahead and placed orders and have not yet collected orders. In fact, they left open orders from here to here. What I mean by left open orders is the fact that they left an area of imbalance where there's insufficiency in the market. And when there's insufficiency in the market tends to go ahead and level itself out by coming and fulfill the insufficiency before having another move. In this very moment, as we go ahead and go above, let's go ahead and continue with how market went ahead and collected and placed orders. So went ahead and placed orders right here, went ahead and collected orders, placed orders right over here. And as we can see, market did not collect to continue on placing. What market went ahead and did, it only went ahead and collected. So let's say if it was to collect and place, market would have gone ahead and collected right around this section right here and continue on going up. Now, one thing that I see right here is a accumulation of price. Accumulation of price is going to be a like Tetris candle, okay, which is right here. This Tetris candle, there's a lot of accumulation right there, meaning that there's a lot of orders placed to the buy side and the sell side. So when you see this right here, it can mean for two factors: that market has stopped placing orders towards the overall direction of the order flow and is now going to start placing orders towards the new side, and that is going to be the new start of the placing and distributing those placing and collecting orders. So in this case, they went ahead and placed orders right here. Have we collected the overall orders? We haven't collected the overall orders up in this section. We went ahead and placed orders right here. We haven't collected. So more than likely what market's going to do is going to go ahead and come down into the zone of imbalance where there was insufficiency in the market, go ahead and fulfill that, and then collect all the orders that were above over here to place new orders and continue with a nice direction to the downside. Now, of course, I'm going to go ahead and explain a lot more in detail when it comes to order flow, which is going to be a little bit more as far as collecting and placing orders. Right now, what I just wanted you guys to understand is the overall terminology of how collecting and placing orders really works. But in the overall order flow section, you will have a full-on comprehension of how this works, and it's going to be a lot more detailed, a lot more easier to comprehend. I know it may be a little bit difficult to comprehend at this very moment, maybe a little bit confusing, but as you go ahead and go on through the course, you will be able to understand a lot more things, such as when we go to the area of imbalance. Imbalance zones are attracted like magnets in the market, so that way market can go ahead and pull down or push up into those sections to go ahead and fulfill those areas of insufficiency. So with that being said, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed this quick little lesson of collecting and distributing orders. See you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.